How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I wanted to talk you through how I got a speeding ticket. Yes, that is correct. As many motorists have done so in the past, I myself got a speeding ticket, and it wasn't on this journey right here, obviously, because I'm talking to you. I'm not going to try and get a speeding ticket, but I did get one. It was back in 2016, I believe, and I thought I'd just talk you guys through how it happened, what I did wrong, which was obviously driving over the speed limit, and kind of how you can avoid doing in the future, which the key one is drive at the speed limit. But yeah, let's go through it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So as I said, it was back in 2016. So I was on my placement year from university. I went to the University of Bath, as I've mentioned many times before, and I was doing politics and international relations, and I had got an internship at an investment bank for 1 year as part of my course. And so I'd come back to live at home whilst I do so, because I live just on the edge or the outskirts of London. So it was easy enough for me to travel into London via train from my home, which saved me a lot of money on rent and all that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, I am stuck behind the slow. What is he doing? Come on, fam. But yes, so I'm living at home with my parents, and basically every single day I would drive from my house to my local station, and then I would get the train in from there to work, and then do my day of work at this investment bank, and then take the train back home from there, and then walk back to my car, drive there back to home. Except for sometimes when instead I would go and collect my friend in order to go to Topgolf so that we can go and play golf. Now, if you haven't been to Topgolf before, it's basically like a driving range that's mixed with kind of like bowling or whatever, in terms of it being like a fun group activity that anyone can go and do. You ping balls, they go in holes, and you're gassed. So basically what I decided is that I would get the train home from work nice and early on this one day. I would drive straight to Topgolf to get myself in the queue nice and early, because the queues get really long, and then drive from there to my friend's house, collect him, and then drive back to Topgolf. So basically a good way of making sure that we're there early in the queue. Now, unfortunately, as is the world of investment banking, you never quite get off of work when you expect to. I was running very late, and I missed a bunch of trains that I wanted to get because I had to get some work done. And because that happened, I was in a bit of a rush and I was a bit flustered. So I finally get on a train, I get to the station, I'm hot, I'm sweaty, I run really quickly back to my car, jump in, knowing that I need to get in that queue for Topgolf, otherwise it's going to be like a good 3 or 4 hour waiting game, and that just sucks. And so I get back to my car, I start driving, and I'm doing the speed limit there or thereabouts. So as I'm driving to Topgolf to get into this queue, I get to this one quite long road. It's a 30-mile-per-hour road. It doesn't actually have any signs on it, but it is a 30-mile-per-hour road. It has no houses on it, it has no anything on it. There's nothing to like really give it a reason for being a 30 road, but I can promise you it is a 30 road. I was sitting just behind another car, and he was going along at a sort of average pace, and I just followed his pace along because I was in a rush. I wasn't really tailgating or anything, but I was definitely following him closely enough. And so that would suggest that we were obviously doing around about the same speed. Unfortunately, what neither him nor I clocked was that up ahead there was a police van with its camera sticking out the back, one of those sort of random speed trap looking vans that was sitting there. Whoa, this dude is properly chilling in the middle of the road there. Neither of us clocked it. It was very unfortunate. Also, check this out, i8, no worries. Oh, and up ahead as well, Gran Turismo. That's pretty chill. i8, Gran Turismo, and a very nice looking Porsche. I'm definitely in a good area here, boys. Very, very nice. But yes, anyway, neither of us clocked the fact that that van was there. It was kind of around the corner, as if kind of like just on the edge, but you would have been able to see it if you'd been paying attention. I hadn't been checking my speedo, I hadn't been checking anything, I was just following this guy's pace, and I broke really hard to get down to 30 miles per hour, as is like the cat reaction in that situation, and it's probably not the right thing to do because you could potentially be endangering someone behind you. But the fact that I slowed down to 30 suggested that I was doing more than 30, and therefore the camera in that police van 110% would have seen me speeding. And then comes that grim moment of realization, that moment where you just know that you've been clocked, you know that you've been caught speeding, and you're sitting there like, oh come on, I've screwed it, I've messed this up, boys. And it's that deep sinking feeling in your stomach is how I would put it. It's just immediate. It just grabs you like, oh, I'm such an idiot. There's nothing you can do about it either. If you've ever been in the same situation, you know how it feels. There's nothing you can do about it. You've done it, it's finished, you're done, and you just feel that real disappointment. It just, I don't know, it's a sucky feeling basically. So I carried on my way. I went to Topgolf. I had a good game with my mate. It was all good and well, but I had that deep underlying feeling knowing that I was going to be getting a ticket soon. And then you go online and you have a look at all the different things like, oh, is there supposed to be a camera in that place? How long before I can legally get away with it? Yada yada yada. I think it's like 28 days. They don't send you something within 28 working days or something like that. Might be, I can't even remember at this point. You can, it doesn't count. I went through all of that and I was thinking like, yeah, maybe I'll get away with it, maybe I will. I was just basically being quite wishful, or having this like wishful thinking mindset that I was going to get away with this speeding offence. It didn't happen. I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I get through the letterbox a notice of intended prosecution, and I'll show a picture of it here on screen because I think I still have it somewhere, if I can find it, that is. And yes, what I was doing was 40 miles per hour in a 30, and though yes, there weren't any houses around and I could appeal the fact that I don't think that should be a 30 road and should be a 40 road, I was very much in the wrong. I was 10 miles per hour over the speed limit, and if I'm perfectly honest, I was quite lucky that I was only doing 10 miles per hour over the speed limit based on the fact that guy was in front of me, because if I'd just been in a rush and trying to get to Topgolf nice and quick, then who knows, I could have been doing more than that, and then I could have very quickly got points on my license. But when I say that because I was allowed to do a speed awareness course. So I had the option of either taking the 3 points as a penalty, or I could go and do a speed awareness course and pay a fine. So I chose the latter one because no one wants points in their license, and the speed awareness course is a nice easy thing to do, particularly now that you don't have to actually do it wherever you got caught speeding. So I basically booked it in for an evening after work, and to be honest, I felt a lot better once I got my ticket. The time between getting caught speeding and getting my ticket, that absolutely sucked. It was just one of those periods of uncertainty where you're just wishing and praying that you don't get caught or don't get fined or whatever it is. And then when you actually get it, it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, I've got my ticket now, I'm in certainty again. It sucks, but at least it's only a speed awareness course. So obviously it would have sucked if I definitely had to get points or gotten more than that, but just getting a speed awareness course and a fine, it was not the end of the world. So yeah, I booked in the speed awareness course. I went to it after work one day, and to be honest, it was actually quite an interesting course. I actually had a pretty decent time. I met some good people there. Everyone was pretty much in the same boat. They'd all been minorly over the speed limits and very unfortunately gotten caught. People either got caught on the M25 or they gotten caught just in and around the London area. There's loads of places in London where you can get caught for doing like 25 and a 20 or whatever, and it sucks. And there are a couple of funny bits as well. There was a bit where the person running the session was like, now, which one of you has ever managed to actually beat your sat-nav to your location? And then I think she's expecting the whole room to just be like, oh yeah, actually, fair point. Everyone in the room put their hand up like, yeah, I beat you all the time. Yeah, I beat the sat-nav all the time. and myself included. And I think it was very much just like a room, oh wow, AMG GTR, no worries. This is sick. What a good video this is. Even if I'm just rambling on, I'm seeing some sick cars. Great car content right here. I felt like I was in a room of like-minded people who don't really like massively overly speed or anything, but unfortunately got caught just a bit over the speed limit, and yeah, it's not the absolute end of the world. Obviously still illegal, obviously still wrong to do based on our laws here in the UK, but ultimately no one was harmed in any of their actions, and except for their wallets and their pride and their evenings where they had to spend like 3 hours learning about how to pay attention on the roads and how to do the correct speeds, etc. So you finish the course, and then you have to keep a hold of this little ticket thing that proves that you've done the course in case anyone calls you up about it. And I think it sits on your record for like 5 years or something that you've been at one of those courses. So I think I'm almost in the clear from that course. Give me 1 more year and I'll be in the clear, lads. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You don't think it's going to happen to you, and then one day you just are being an idiot or you're in a rush, and next thing you know, boom, you are slapped with a nice big ticket. And it very much changed the way that I drove from then on. I now am much more in adherence with speed limits. Like, that was obviously maybe 2 years into me starting driving cars. So yeah, much better with speed limits, much better with just like being safe on the roads, and also, as is the case with driving generally, for me at least, and I hope for lots of other people too, you drive a lot further ahead in the road. Like, you're looking further ahead rather than right in front of you, and that really helps in terms of making sure that you can clock when there might be a speed camera or a speed trap or whatever it is. Also, on top of that, just driving my area for an extended period of time, I'm now well aware of where there may be a police speed trap, and I try not to drive fast around those areas. It's pretty simple. And regardless, since then, back in 2016, I haven't had any form of speeding issue. So yes, very happy with that. 0 points in the license and no infractions with police in my car. So yes, very happy so far. But yes, the simple ways to not get caught speeding. Number one is obviously to not speed. It's pretty simple. It sucks in some occasions, but ultimately that's the easiest way. Number two, as I said, all the experience points, like getting more experience with driving, etc. Number three, if you're driving in an area where you don't have experience, just drive at the speed limit 110%, because that's the kind of area where you're going to get caught speeding. If you don't know where the cameras are, etc., it's going to be more difficult. And number four actually is to use the app Waze as well. Like, I have that on in the background. I don't use it for my sat nav, but I use it for my background stuff, so that it tells you when there's a policeman in the area, potentially if someone has reported them, which I know that you might not be speeding in the first place, but it helps in terms of adding that extra level of caution that people often like to do when they are around police officers. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video of me talking about how I got a speeding ticket. Try not to get one if you're out there listening to this. It's not worth it. 100 quid down the drain, and also 3 hours of my time down the drain, as well as a bunch of weeks of just worrying about the fact that I was going to get a speeding ticket. So yeah, it all just took a bunch of years and money off my life, basically. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date, and the notification bell as well, because that will let you know when I drop my 2 videos every week. Massive thanks to the patrons as always, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Listen.